Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will look at trees. So trees are just special types of networks or graphs. They're connected graphs with no cycles, and it means in a tree there is a unique path from any vertex to another vertex. So this here is clearly not a tree. It has cycles. There's one cycle here, one cycle here. On the other hand, this is a tree. It is connected. You can get from any vertex to any other vertex. Now, sometimes in trees we designate one of the vertices a root. That's when we have a hierarchical structure, so we're going out from A. But that doesn't have to be the case. This is clearly a tree because it is a graph and it has no cycles. So let's look at some applications of trees. So in this example, we'll look at Kruskal's algorithm to find a minimal spanning tree. So here we have a network. It's clearly not a tree. What we're going to do is find a tree that is embedded in this network such that the sum of each of these weights of the tree is a minimum. Each of these nodes could represent something like a building, and say the number along the edges could represent the cost to connect them via some cable or some network. So to find the minimal spanning tree, we're finding how we could connect each of these buildings for the lowest possible cost. So let's use Kruskal's algorithm. So we pick the smallest edge available. Smallest meaning it has the smallest weight. So that's this one here, 3. So we're going to pick that and it's going to become a part of our tree. So then we pick the next smallest, which is this one here, 4. Now the next smallest edge is this one here, 5. But we don't want to choose that as part of our tree because that will create a cycle. This one's actually unnecessary in creating a tree. If these are already connected, we don't need to connect B and E. That would just be a waste of money. So we're not going to pick that one. Let's look at the next smallest. So that is this edge here, 6. We're going to add that to the tree. Then we're going to add this one here of 7. So there are 2 here of 8. I'll just pick one of them. It doesn't really matter which one. I don't want to pick both of them though, because that would create a cycle. So the next smallest one we have is 9. So this one will be included in our tree. The next smallest numbers are both 10. So we're going to pick these ones here. We have here a tree. The edges here that are highlighted in yellow, they form the tree. We're not going to include these ones here. We don't need to connect to these 2 buildings, for example. This gives us the lowest possible cost. So the sum of the weights in the minimal spanning tree is 57. So this might mean it'll cost like $57,000 to connect each of the buildings. Now, when you use Kruskal's algorithm, if you use it correctly, you're guaranteed to find the minimal spanning tree. Let's look at another example of applications of trees. So we're going to create here a binary search tree. So each of these here could be some sort of file, folder, whatever. We use these binary search trees where there's a hierarchical structure. Apparently, your computer creates them because it makes it easy to find things later. So what we'll do is we'll start with the first one in this list, and that's J. That's going to be the root of our tree. Now we have to add in each of the others. So the rule for binary search trees is each node, in this case J is a node, it can have at most one left child and one right child. Left childs have smaller value, right childs have larger value. So when I want to put in C, it would have smaller value. Here we're just putting things in alphabetical order. So J is the 10th letter, C is the 3rd letter. C will go to the left over here. So then we look at A. Now A has lower value than J, so it needs to go to the left. But we can't do something like put A over here because that would mean J has 2 left childs. Instead, A is like the child of a child. A will go to the left of C. Now we're going to put in X. X has higher value than J, so it will go over here. Now we'll look at B. So B has a lower value than J. It's going to go here to the left. It has lower value than C, so it's going to go over here. B has a higher value than A, so it's the right child of A. Now let's look at Z. So Z will be over on the right. It has higher value than J. It has higher value than X, so it will be the right child of X. And now we want to put in M. So M has, again, a higher value than J, but it has a lower value than X. So it will go over here. This is the binary search tree. Now, binary search trees can dramatically reduce the time it takes your computer to search for something. For example, if it wanted to search for M here, it wouldn't need to go through each of these one by one. It says, okay, M has higher value than J, so it's over here. M has lower value than X, so we go to the left, and it's found it. It's basically like halving the number of items to search at each step, so it doesn't have to go through everything one by one. Of course, how efficient these are depends on the tree. It is possible that you get a tree that looks like this, and if it does, it really doesn't help you that much, but most of the time, binary search trees successively halve the number of items to search, and that makes searching so much easier. Alright, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.